Good morning, love, light, and lamentation. Lamentation, I say lamentation because that's what I want to do. I want to lament. So let me get right into it. I haven't had I haven't had a driver for maybe a few months now. But I've been coping and I'm like, okay, I work mainly from home. And then if I'm not, I'm going on to set. Then boys' schools, their schools close by to the house. So that's not too much of a hassle. Then apart from that, staff-wise, the two, let's say housekeeper maid type thing, decided to leave at the same time, which obviously they planned. And so it takes me a minute to get over things, then it takes me a minute to sort of get back into gear to be like, okay, this is what the next step is and this is what we're doing. So I said, all right, fine. And I've been lamenting and I'm like, oh no, I don't have. Anyway, I didn't have any staff. I didn't. Note, past tense. I didn't have any staff. So I decided no more live-ins. I will actually tell you all about that in a few. No more live-ins, because where I moved to, there's no BQ. It's a 4-bed, so one of the rooms is the nanny's room. It's just not working out, so I'm just like, I just want somebody that comes and that goes, and that's pretty much about it. Now, the situation at hand, I found someone. She's good. 2 days so far. She started on Thursday, and she's done Friday, so far so good. Right? Right. So I was feeling positive. Absolutely what? Positive. And I thought to myself, on to the next. On to the next, I say. Now it's time to hire a driver. Now, the last driver I had, really good guy, quite calm, reserved, is good driver, basically. There were ups and downs and whatnot, nothing major. But yeah, just good driver. I was happy with him. Found a better job opportunity where he said he needed the flexibility to be able to come and go as he pleased, or whatever the situation with. Maybe I think he found somewhere where he's getting paid more, and it works out better for him. So he left, and I'm like, okay, fine. So then he says to me, I think it was last week, did you find a driver yet? I said no. So then he sends me somebody earlier on in the week to say, okay, this is the person. I've worked with him, he's reliable. Go, so if you're still looking, I might have to continue this later because one of the boys just woke up. I hear footsteps. Okay, but let me quickly try and get it done. So on to the next, right? And then I call the guy in, bring him in for an interview. That's on Thursday. It's a thorough interview. I ask for references, not a guarantor, references. And he gives me references. So I say, okay, which I do. Come in for a trial. Come in for a trial. He comes and take the kids to school. Then on the way back, because there's construction going on my road, you have to maneuver to get into your house. It's either you reverse in because the road is no longer as wide because they're doing stuff on. Because the road is no longer as wide, it's like you have to maneuver your way in. So usually what I do now is I drive forward and then I back up into my house. It's a pain in the ass, and I can't wait for them to be done with this construction stuff. They're creating, which, should have been done, but they're creating gutters so that, when it's raining, everything can be sorted. They started, but now all of a sudden there's no work being done, but there are barriers on the side of the road. I will show you a demonstration. In fact, is it really even necessary? Either way, so this guy come back from dropping the boys at school and he's backing up. And one thing I said, use your mirrors, right? Say yes, ma'am. Backs up into the gate. Not a jarring back up, but he's reversing and comes in contact with the gate. And I'm like, what is this? So when I said, immediately I was like, dude, come out of the car. And I was like, what is this? What are you doing? I back up into the house. I was like, what are you doing? I told you use your mirrors. Ma, I'm sorry. I won't do it again. I won't do it again. If only I had gone with my gut at that period of time. But I'll say to myself, oh, you're being wicked. Just give him another chance, right? Just give him another chance. So the day goes on, and then I'm inside. I'm working inside. He's out there. When it's time to pick the boys up for school, I go pick Alex up, come back, pick Micah up, come back. Then he goes to go get petrol. So then he gets the petrol. He comes back to the house. I hear the gate open. I open the curtain. I see that it's him. I'm like, oh, he's going to get the petrol. He's filled up the tank. Next thing I hear. So again, let me just back it up a little bit. I looked out the window and I'm like, he's back. Okay, he's going to buy fuel. All right, the day's gone well. I turn around to just go about my business and I just hear, BIM! Like the house kind of shook. And I went outside. So dude was backing up to park. I was even being directed by the security guard. And his claim was, I was trying to put the car in park. But what I believe happened is, I don't even know. I can't even describe it because I don't even understand the way the brain must have, connected wires and whatnot. So I don't even know how I can even try to explain it, but it was reversing to back up into the parking spot. And I think where he thought he was going forward, or where he thought he had put it into drive, it was still in reverse. And he stepped on the accelerator. But my point is, why are you stepping on the accelerator so hard? That you back up so hard, you break part of the window pane, and you break the neighbor's windows. The back of my car is completely gone. So all the glass, the bumper is a little bit, it's warped. The paint job is, just look at it. So, that was my day. So after which, I was livid, but yesterday I was losing my voice. So my voice when I get upset and I'm yelling is usually very, is it shrill? Is that the word to use? It's quite piercing. But I'd lost my voice, so there was no yelling. And I was just it's weird. I was angry, but I was very, very calm. You know, that sort of thing. He immediately went into, madam, it's never happened to me before. Please, I beg of you. I'm just like, dude, I'm not interested in your begging, or it's never happened to you before. Today is your trial date. Anyway, I'm just like, okay, let's get on top of it. What's next? So what do? I call the mechanic, and I told him I was like, this and this is happening. He says to me, he goes, what's my nose shining? And he says to me, take a picture, send it to me. Let me see. So I did that, sent it to him. He calls me back. He says, okay, see, the problem is they don't replace the glass without replacing the boot. And then the bumper as well, because the bumper is warped. I'm not doing, let's knock it out. Let's do this, let's do that. I'm not doing that. Because when it hit the wall, it shifted. It almost sort of dug the bumper in. Thankfully, the side of the car, where the bumper connects to the other part, another panel, that didn't shift, but you can see that the bumper is sort of dug in. It's warped, it's bent. So either way, I called the mechanic, and when I called the mechanic says he'll get back to me, in a few minutes. Calls me back in about 5-10 minutes. He says he's called his guy at Ladipo. What they have to do, because that's the person that told him that, the glass in the boot, everything has to come off. So what they have to do, that is not something that's going to take a while. What they have to do is just remove it, replace it, make sure everything's attached the way it's supposed to be attached. Question now is, are they going to get the exact same color? Then he starts telling me, when they get it, then they'll just have to paint it. It's his work, it's what he does. The car has a code for the color. They'll get the exact same color. I was like, okay, so then we're going to have to respray the whole car. No, it's the work that I do. It's this, it's that, it's all that stuff. I know that what I know right now is this. If they have to paint the back, but don't paint the main car, you're going to be able to see a difference because one is fresh and one is old, right? So I'm probably going to have to end up respraying the whole car. How much is this costing? He said it's $140,000. And I just thought to myself, I was like, it's $140,000. And I immediately went out to tell the culprits it's $140,000. By this time, by the way, I called my former driver to be like, okay, this and this is what's happened. So he's come, he's here. And everybody's all like, it's only 140. I thought it was going to be more. These bloody dogs have started. Be right back. Yeah, it was a pigeon. So I like to go crazy either way. Okay, so I went out to tell the culprit. And former driver was like, I thought it was going to be like 350 or this and that and whatever. And I was like, yeah. Do you have the money? Like, I don't understand why everybody's excited that it wasn't as high as they thought it was going to be. It's 140,000. That already is a lot. So I don't even understand why anybody's elated about anything. Then we started the task of, how do we get the money together? I look at the culprit, whose name is Sunday, by the way. And when the former driver came, he's like, sees his driver's license, which I did. And I'm like, okay, so how far? Start calling who you need to call. Get me my money. Get me my money now because I need to fix this car tomorrow morning. I tell him, he's looking at me. I was like, pick up your phone, start calling people. Pick up your phone, start calling people. Pick up your phone, start calling people. Either way, this continues till about 10 o'clock at night. 10 o'clock at night. He's called his uncle, he's called his mom, he's called his sister, he's called his auntie. And the general, at first they said, they're going to send 60,000. I said, okay, fine, send the 60,000. What about the balance? And then when he came to 60,000, now we can't reach the number. They switched the phone off. They said they'll get back to me, that sort of thing. So at one period of time, I got so frustrated, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna speak to them. I was speaking to the person. The person was so nonchalant. I was just like, I talked to the person. The person is so nonchalant about it, and I was just like, what the actual fuck is going on here? I'm not going to get pissed off. In fact, I have no business with this person that I'm speaking to on the phone because I am not in the position to be speaking on anybody's behalf because this is the person that destroyed my car. So this is the person that should be handling this. I hand the phone back over and I was like, I'm not getting involved in this. Either way, then at one period of time, I think, let me call the police. There was an incident with the police last week. I don't want to have to deal with them ever again because they extort you. And that's what they do. That's what they did to me. That's what they did to me. I went to report a crime, but they ended up extorting me. So I'm spending money. I don't appreciate that. I don't understand why, because I go to the police to write something down. You say to me, give me 3,000 naira first of all to lodge your complaint. So I remember that day, this was the other incident. I went to work afterwards and they were like, what happened? This and that. Because when they were calling me to let me know that I was due at work because I was late for work because of the situation, I was telling them that I had a police incident, and they, you know, the person that I actually play opposite in Tinsel, even though she plays a police officer, knows quite a few police individuals, which I wasn't aware of. And she was like, next time anything happens, just call me, let me know, that sort of thing. But it seems to be that's what happens. So either way, I called the police guy and I was like, this and that. He's like, yeah, bring it. I'm going on special assignment right now, but I'll hand you over to the accident department, that sort of thing. And I was just like, first of all, again, downside of not having live-ins, there was nobody to watch the kids, even though by this time they're in bed and they're sleeping. And I just thought to myself, I'm not going to go because I'm not going to leave my kids alone because of. So this is one of those situations that you don't want to make a situation worse because you're trying to sort out one situation. So I did not go to the police. Then I'm like, let me call my brother. Maybe he can get me some soldiers. Or I spoke to my brother. He's like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. You know, he was pissed off. He was angry. But he was like, if you get soldiers, they're going to destroy this guy. Do you want to go that far? Like, they're going to destroy this guy. You know, so it was another thing to think about. Look, calling long story short, it got late. I was tired, frustrated, dejected. I don't have my money, but I have to go fix my car. That's where we're at right now. I don't have my money. I still have to go fix my car. I need a holiday. School's wrapping up soon. I need to get out of town.